following up from last week's video when we were talking about how study abroad during the summer is in a lot of ways the best of both worlds, where you're able to balance the academics of, not having to worry about doing it, full time throughout your semester, but also being able to have a lot of fun. I also just wanted to kind of, put more exciting ideas out there. So I know that a lot of students, most of the students, pretty much all the students I work with at this point are Gen Zers or whatever you guys are calling yourselves now, Zoomers. I have no idea. It changes every day, right? But I know that for your generation, I am a millennial, so I am not a boomer, but I'm also still pretty old compared to most of you. And so I know that one of the things that's really important to you that I've heard on social media, and I'm probably outdating myself since it's 2022 now, maybe this is so 2021, but I know that, for example, the aesthetic is very important to the Gen Zers. And so if you are doing a summer study abroad, that is the perfect aesthetic for your TikTok and for the gram and for Facebook if you're on that, and even for LinkedIn if you're starting that and you're ready to feel old. But it's great because compared to the other times of the year, spring a little bit depending on where you're going, but in the fall, I mean, there is an opportunity for aesthetic if you're, into Christmas or whatever, but it's typically pretty cold in the fall and in the leading into the winter months. So it's like, you're not going to be outside too much, taking your selfies and doing all that. Whereas in the summer, like, who does not want to, even myself, want to go somewhere and take, nice images. You're in the sunshine, you may be having a glass of wine. Let's say you're doing it in Venice on a gondola, and you're just, flexing for your friends on the gram. Like, I'm not that old. I understand how that works. And so I definitely always like to remind students of that if that is not the only reason you should study abroad in the summer. But I know that before you get back to the video, I just wanted to pop in here to remind you to go ahead and download my free e-guide, Finding Your Perfect Study Abroad program. Now, this e-guide was created with students just like you in mind. It's all about how to find the perfect program for you. I know that that is something that students often struggle with. So we are going to be talking about how to find a program, what are some of the common types of programs, how to even track your budgeting as you're going through and applying, what to consider as you're looking at a visa, and so much more. So to find the e-guide, you can either follow the link that is here on the screen, or I'm also going to link it just below in the description box so that you can go ahead and get started. As I said, it is fully free, it is printable, and it is a lot of fun. There's also a very fun quiz as well to sort of help you figure out if you're on the right track. So definitely get started with that after you finish watching the video and have some fun with it. And please go ahead and get started so that you can find the best study abroad program for you. Back to the video. For example, I know there's a lot of you out there who are within this age group who are content creators, and you guys are so good at this. I mean, I am someone who I'm in my mid-30s, and I studied broadcasting and editing and all of this, and it's still taken me a long time to sort of catch up to what social media is doing, and having to study it, whereas it feels like you guys just kind of come out knowing it and you get it. You've helped even me so much learn different things. So if you are a content creator and you want to, let's say you have a side business or you run a blog or whatever you do, this is a great time to get a lot of great images and a lot of great things, a lot of great sourcing for your content as well. And also too, like, as I was mentioning in the first point of the video from last week, if you did miss that video, I'm going to go ahead and link it in the card above. But I was talking about the fact that there's something very different about summer. So as you know, depending on where you live, that, summertime is kind of an off period. I know that here in the US, we tend to be a little bit more off than a lot of people. There are a lot of countries where, let's say, a lot of, locals will take off in the entire month of August or whatever it is. But there are some places where schools don't necessarily have like an entire 3 or 4 weeks off. They may have like a little bit of time off. It's a lot different. But there's a much more of a relaxed feel in the summer, no matter where you are. Of course, like, it's the summertime. There's not as much stress around studying. And of course, if you are in a study abroad program, you will need to still apply yourself. But you tend to find that the students who are going to be there with you, you all are typically in the same situation. So maybe they are students like you who are trying to catch up on their elective credit, or maybe they are there to do, let's say you're all there for internship. Everyone's there for something that's very, very focused. Whereas if you're doing a semester long program, it may just feel like another day on campus at home, except for you're just in a more fancy location, you know, because it is kind of that day-to-day grind of, you know, this is the regular school year. I'm just in a different place, and you can still have fun with it. But in the summertime, things just feel a little bit lighter. And I know that, you know, even with study abroad, as stressful as it can be, as I mentioned before, you're going to be there as more of a sampler. So you're not having to dive as deep and go as deep into the levels of everything and all the roller coaster and emotions that study abroad students experience if you're just there for 8 weeks. It's not going to happen. It may happen on a smaller scale. So like I was saying, you may get homesick, you know, for a little bit, but then by the time you really dive deep into it, you're back home. So it's a lot different. And so I definitely just wanted to highlight, you know, in addition to the aesthetic, that just the fact that it's a little bit more laid back. And so if you feel like that's going to be helpful for you, then you should definitely consider studying abroad during the summertime.